Hey everybody, welcome back to Living Traditions Homestead. We're going to bring you just a little bit different of a video today.
The first reason is we're inside by the wood stove. Actually, this is the first wood stove talk we've had for the entire winter, which is pretty amazing.
Right. Not that it's the first time we've used the wood stove.
No.
We use the wood stove every day.
Yeah, it's the first time we were talking to you guys in front of the wood stove. We've done that a lot in years past. But anyway, the weather outside is really weird. Today and yesterday we had some bad winter weather, mostly sleet yesterday. But today we had a thunderstorm in the middle of a sleet storm.
Yeah.
It was 25 degrees outside at the time, and there was a thunderstorm. It's the first time we've ever had a thunderstorm during like a winter storm. It was very strange.
It's very strange. In fact, our electric flickered a few times. Yep. We thought we were going to lose power. Luckily, we haven't yet, so hopefully it stays that way.
But that's why we're inside today, not working outside.
Now, the other thing is we fully acknowledge some of the heavy things that are going on in the world right now. And just like all of you, we've done all we can to kind of prepare. We're hoping that a lot of extra bad things don't come our way here in the United States. We're definitely praying for all of those around the world that are being affected by things right now. But, you know, things have been not normal even here in our country for quite a while now. Prices are out of control. Things are just kind of getting, I don't know, nothing really seems normal at the moment. So I'll just give you an example. We went and paid for our fertilizer for our hayfield last week. The past 2 years, and now we have about a 20-acre hayfield. The past 2 years, our fertilizer has cost us a little over $1,200 for the hayfield. This year, it was a little over $2,300, so it just about doubled in price since last year. The same has gone on with the feed for all of the animals. We look back, our prices have gone up about 50% since last year. I mean, all of you know what gas prices are doing, so things are just a little out of control right now. We're doing the best we can to keep everything going here on the homestead, but it can be a little of a bummer sometimes. So today we thought we'd bring you just kind of a lighthearted video, something to take everybody's mind off of everything that's going on, and we hope that it'll bring you guys some smiles along the way as well.
Well, you all know that we get tons of questions, and a lot of times when we do a Q&A question, we choose like 4 or 5 questions that we get a lot that require kind of a lengthy explanation, kind of about like where we're going with the homestead, why we do things the way we do. But a lot of times we get a lot of questions that are just, you know, kind of simple answers, one-off questions that we don't hear over and over again. So we have compiled just over 20 of those types of questions that we've looked back over the past maybe month or so.
Right. We've got them all here in a bowl.
I printed them out and cut them into little pieces of paper, and so we're gonna pick a bunch of them and just answer those today. So really
kind of a lightning round of questions.
Yeah.
We're gonna try to get through as many as we can in a short amount of time.
Yeah, there's no real rhyme or reason. There's no real theme to the questions.
Right.
No order of any kind. We're just gonna answer a bunch of questions for you guys.
All right, we're not gonna wait anymore. Let's jump right into it. We're gonna just start one at a time. We're gonna pick questions and give you our best answer. What is that thing on your hat and shirt? Hey, that's a good question to start off with. We get a lot of questions about this thing and this thing. Those are our microphones. They're a wireless microphone. We get a lot of actually compliments from you guys about the sound quality on our videos. And those microphones have been a real blessing because we don't have to be really close to the camera to get good sound quality.
The other reason why these are so fantastic, these particular microphones, is when we bought our second property, which we call our farm property, the wind up there, you guys, is so crazy. And our other microphone just wasn't doing very well. These are fantastic.
Right.
In fact, the last video that we shot before this, when we were fixing fences, you guys, the wind was crazy. There wasn't a single bit of wind noise at all in that video. So they do a really great job.
Right.
Can you make ghee from store-bought butter? Now, I recently did a video where I skimmed cream from our cow's milk, turned it into butter, and then made ghee. And this question is, can you use store-bought butter to make ghee? Absolutely, you can use store-bought butter to make ghee. I recommend using unsalted butter so that your ghee isn't super salty, but I would imagine you could use the salted butter as well.
Can you reuse Mylar bags? Okay, so when we do freeze drying videos, you guys see us using the Mylar bags, and that question is, can you reuse them after you've opened them up? Yeah, you can reuse them as long as you wash them out. If there's anything in them, make sure they're really good and dry before you put anything new in them. But yeah, as long as you can seal it back up and put a new oxygen absorber inside, there's absolutely no reason you can't reuse them.
How much butter would it take to make 2 cups of ghee?
I'm glad she's getting all these ghee questions because I may not know the answer.
Actually, if you start with 2 cups of butter, you're pretty much going to get 2 cups of ghee because all you're taking out of the butter are the milk solids, and that is really a very small amount. So it really is kind of 1 for 1.
What kind of cow do you have, and do you milk once a day? We have a Jersey cow. We think Jerseys are the best dairy cows to have, especially on a small farm. There may be some debate about that, but that's our opinion. And yes, right now we milk once a day. When she first has a calf or when she's producing a lot of milk, we will milk twice a day. But you can kind of transition them into being a once a day milker, which for us works out best with our schedule and everything else. So we have a Jersey cow and we milk once a day.
We do also have beef cattle, and they are Limousine Hereford Cross.
And we don't milk them.
No. Next question. I feel like I'm only getting ghee questions.
Weird.
Can you make ghee from goat's milk? Well, you probably can make ghee from goat's cream, but it'll be a little bit harder because goat milk is naturally homogenized, which means the cream and the milk are combined and the cream doesn't rise to the top. And you make butter from only cream and ghee from only butter. So you probably could. It would just be a harder process.
Can I use potting soil instead of seed starting mix? You can. A lot of people do use potting soil instead of seed starting mix. You're going to have better germination with seed starting mix. It's a lot easier for them to get their little roots started because it's a kind of a fluffier substance. And it retains water better. It just, all in all, I mean, there's a reason why they invented something specifically for seed starting, because it does a better job. But if you don't want to have to then transplant into something else, you can start your seeds right in potting soil.
Right. Do you grow celery in your garden? We have not grown celery in our garden yet. We would love to because I use a lot of celery in our cooking. We haven't had good luck germinating celery seeds, and I haven't found a good provider of celery starts, but I would love to find that.
We did try it in pots one year.
We did try growing celery from like the end of a celery bunch that you would get at the grocery store, and it did okay, but I would really like to find starts someday and really be serious about growing celery.
Where did you purchase your grow lights? Amazon. Most things that we get that we can't buy locally, we get on Amazon because way out here, that's just the most convenient to have things delivered. I think there is a link to them in our Amazon shop if you guys want to take a look at them. We're using the red and blue LED grow lights, and we've been very happy with them. This is the second year now that we're using them.
What do you do with the quail eggs you don't incubate? We eat the extra quail eggs. They're a great source of nutrition, just like chicken eggs or duck eggs. They're fantastic, and I think our favorite thing to do with them is to hard boil them and pickle them or use them hard boiled.
Right. I think the reason someone probably asked that question, and I think a lot of people are confused, is that they wonder, because the eggs are fertilized, because we have males with the females, are we eating fertilized eggs? The truth is, if you're buying eggs from a farmer, like a small farm like us, chances are any eggs you're buying are fertilized eggs, even chicken eggs or duck eggs, because you have a rooster with your flock.
Right.
And those eggs are, so as long as you collect eggs every day and put them in the fridge, they're never going to turn into anything else. So, yeah, we eat everything that we don't incubate. Where do you get your planter buckets? So I'm assuming it's the big buckets we use in the greenhouse. Those buckets are actually old mineral tubs from cattle. Some of them are from cattle, our own cattle, but most of them we buy from other farmers around here. Normally we can pick them up for $2 or $3 a piece. And basically they come with minerals in that over the winter especially, You put them out in the field for your cattle. The cattle will lick all the minerals out of the inside, or it's actually like a protein supplement. The cattle will lick all the stuff out of the inside, and then you're left with these buckets. Most farmers around here that are just cattle farmers and don't grow anything, they just throw them away, or they burn them, or take them to the landfill. So we like to buy them and reuse them in the greenhouse, and they work out great.
Are you Project Farm's daughter? Honestly, I didn't know who Project Farm was. Turns out that is a YouTuber that tests a lot of like tools and those kinds of things. And so no, I'm not Project Farm's
I'm glad you got that question.
daughter. I'm Larry Williams' daughter. That's who my dad is, not Project Farm.
Where do we buy our seeds? Well, we buy seeds from a lot of different places, but the main places that we buy seeds from are Baker Creek Heirloom Seed Company, Totally Tomatoes.
And then there are some specific varieties of things that I was looking for, so I had to buy from a couple other companies. Seed Saver or Seed Savers Exchange, Fedco, and I think Burpee this year, just so that I could get all of my favorite varieties of different things for the garden.
Yeah, seeds were harder to come by this year, so hopefully you guys all have yours already as well.
That's right. What is the name of your incubator? I don't know.
It is a Brincy Ovation. It's the 56EX, and it does an excellent job, so I highly recommend it. When will you move to the farm? That is a good question, you guys. We're not quite ready to completely answer that question yet, but I'll tell you that we're hoping to move permanently to the farm by the end of summer, if not before.
What farmers market do we sell at? We sell at the Ava, Missouri Farmers Market in Ava, Missouri, in the town square. That begins on the first Saturday of April and runs through October, I believe, every Saturday. We will be selling there on Saturdays in April and May for sure this year. We'll be selling plant starts.
After May, when all of our plant starts are out, then it's kind of hit or miss whether or not we'll be there. So we normally try to let you guys know which weeks we're going to be there and which weeks we're not going to be there. How often do you water the seed trays while waiting for them to germinate? Really every day, but really the answer is whenever they need it. You really need to keep the seed starting mix or whatever you're using moist the entire time you're waiting for your seeds to germinate. Now putting the domes over the top of the trays makes a big difference, but really you want to water those at least once a day because you need to keep them moist. Seeds aren't going to germinate if they don't stay moist.
And that's especially true when they're on heat mats because the heat makes the water evaporate, and even though you have the domes on there, they can lose some of that water. So definitely every day at first. When they come off the heat mats, then it's actually not so much, maybe every couple days. Where does Sarah get her shirts? These fabulous shirts, you guys see me wearing a lot of faith-based Christian shirts. That is from a Missouri company called Ellie and Grace. And I love every single one of them. I actually just got this t-shirt. It's part of their t-shirt subscription program. Just got it in the mail yesterday. So fabulous. Make sure you check them out, ellieandgrace.com. Fabulous, local to us, Christian company.
I'm going to answer the same question for me just because so many of you ask it. I buy my shirts all over the internet. Basically, if I'm on somewhere and I see a funny shirt that I like, I go ahead and order it. So that's kind of where I get mine. There's no one specific place. Are you moving the sprout house to the farm? Yes, we do plan on moving the sprout house to the farm, but we're waiting until after this seed starting season. We're hoping by next seed starting season we'll be at the farm.
Living there.
So, but for this year we decided to leave it here yet. Yeah, it's a portable building and we have found someone who can move it for us. So the plan is to move the sprout house and probably one other building here from the homestead down to the farm.
Can you freeze dry butter? We've had this question so much.
A lot of times.
And the answer is no. because a freeze dryer doesn't do well with fats.
Right.
It just won't freeze dry them. And I think people are confused because they see butter powder at the grocery store. And I'll tell you, I don't know how they do that, and I'm not convinced it's actually 100% butter in that butter powder. Maybe it's butter flavored powder. I could be completely wrong.
Right.
But the freeze dryer doesn't.
Maybe bigger industrial freeze dryers can do it.
That's true.
I don't know.
Yeah, but our freeze dryer from Harvest Right cannot do heavy fats like butter.
Right. What is the name of Kevin's post driver? It is a Rhino brand, and it's the Fence Pro. I believe they still make it. I've had it for a few years now, but yeah, it's the Rhino Fence Pro. It has probably been the biggest time saver of anything we bought on the homestead. Possibly even a bigger time saver than the tractor.
Yeah, when Kevin had surgery on his hernia, we realized he had a triple hernia.
Right, 3 hernias.
Yeah, and so after that surgery, we decided that we needed to do something to help prevent him from having hernias in the future, and that has been really a literal godsend. I mean, it's been wonderful.
Right. Now, I will tell you, that post driver is still heavy. It weighs close to 40 pounds, so even lifting it up is a lot of work as you go down the line, but not nearly as much work as driving posts by hand. So you guys should check that out. I think we have a link to that in our Amazon shop as well.
And we recently had questions about why we don't just use our tractor to drive in T-posts. You want to just answer that question?
Well,
too?
I know in a lot of parts of the country, you can use the bucket of your tractor to just push in T-posts. You guys, our ground here is pretty much solid rock. We've got about 2 or 3 inches of soil on top, and then in most places, it's pretty much solid rock. So we can't push them in with the tractor bucket. And my tractor isn't big enough to use one of the big, like, pneumatic post drivers that goes on the back of the truck or back of the tractor. My tractor is just not big enough for that. So the handheld post driver is the way to go.
Right. How do we deal with mosquitoes? You guys, we have very few mosquitoes here.
Yeah. It's
we grew
very
up in
strange.
Wisconsin, and in Wisconsin, growing up, man, there were mosquitoes everywhere. But here, we really don't have mosquitoes.
No, which is strange because we have a ton of water.
Right.
Everybody's got ponds on their property. Like, we have 4 ponds on the farm property. You would think those would be a great place for mosquitoes, but yeah, there's just not a lot of them here.
No, ticks. Now, we've got ticks, and we have chiggers.
Right.
But not many mosquitoes.
Right. So we count that as a blessing.
Yes.
Why don't we raise bees? Well, that is a good question. At one point, a few years ago, we did try raising bees, but I'll be honest, we weren't quite ready for them. We had a friend who had bees, and she all of a sudden developed an anaphylactic reaction to them when she got stung. And so we took them kind of quickly just because she needed to get them off her property. We weren't quite ready for bees, and we didn't know really what we were doing, and all of the bees flew away. And since that time, we've decided that until we're ready, we're just not going to do it. We have friends who raise bees. There are people around here who are good resources for us. But you guys, especially while we still have the 2 places, we just can't add much more than what we're doing right now. We do want bees. We really want bees. And so I think we will in the future. We're just not ready for them at this time.
Right. Do you ship rabbits? We recently talked about we're getting back into rabbits more than we have been in the past year or so. We are selling weaned rabbits, baby rabbits or kits, but we are not shipping them. We actually don't ship any live animals.
No, it's just not something we're set up to do.
Right.
How do we keep the ducks from flying away? The ducks we have don't fly.
Right.
That's the easiest answer to that question.
Right.
Many breeds of ducks don't fly. They're just either too heavy, like the Pekin ducks that we have are too heavy. Actually, all the ducks we have are too heavy. And then we have a few runner ducks, which they're called runner ducks. They run, they don't fly. Now, they can fly a little bit.
Right.
They can get a few inches off the ground, but they can't even get over a 5-foot fence. So none of the breeds that we have fly, so we don't have to worry about that.
And that's been an intentional choice. We haven't wanted ducks that could fly.
Right. Yeah, a lot of people raise the Muscovy ducks, and they are excellent flyers. When we lived in Arizona, a lot of people had those, and they would get up way up in the palm trees. They'd be on, the roofs and everything else. And no, we just have ducks that don't fly.
And the last question, it's a really good one, and we haven't talked about this in a while. The question is, do we have kids? We do. We have 2 daughters. One is in high school and the other is in college. And we actually made a choice as a family, and the kids also waited on this. Several years ago, we all decided that they would not be in our videos.
Right.
For their privacy, we won't be showing them, and it's been a good decision.
Right, yeah. It's best, in our opinion, to keep the kids off. There were some issues that we actually had a few years ago, and so that prompted that decision. So, yes, we do have 2 daughters, but you won't be seeing them in our videos. Well, there you go. I think that was close to 25 questions, 21 or 22
21.
questions. I hope that answers some things that you guys have been wondering. If you enjoyed this type of video, let us know. I would be happy to do it again in the future. Speaking of that, if you are enjoying our videos and you enjoy the type of content that we put out, the lifestyle that we live, we sure hope that you will hit that subscribe button before you leave. Don't forget that the absolute best way that you can help us, as always, is just to share our videos across your social media so that others who might enjoy them can watch them as well. Until next time, thank you guys so much for stopping by our homestead. Take care, and God bless.
God bless.